Okay guys, here we go. So, the next in the series of unboxing commission videos. So, now I'm going to unbox the asjarra Abaddon model for Isamudyson, and this is what's in the box. Yeah! Okay, not much. So we've got some plastic bits from the Terminator Lord conversion, from the Games Workshop Terminator Lord kit. So bits of skulls and brackets and spiky things and shoulder pads and all sorts of stuff. And then we've got our newly scrubbed and cleaned Abaddon. Now this was absolutely covered in muck, so it's been scrubbed right down to the surface. And it's nice and shiny and new. But what I want to show you is why I'm going to have to make this a little more complicated than usual. Because if I look at this Space Marine Terminator here, he is at least a half head height taller. That's crazy. I think he's taller. Someone might disagree. No, he definitely is. His torso begins pretty further up. Another half head height, I think. And you know, these characters need to breathe anyway. I always think they look really stumpy. So this is kind of like stumpy, and this is like what we want to get to. So to do that, I'm going to transplant detail from here to here. So shave this down, do the usual, add a green stuff cape, bring over the kneecaps, all those sorts of things. Now, you might have said, asjarra, why don't you use fine cast? That makes a lot more sense. Well, that's a good question. Like, the fine cast Abaddon costs a lot of money, and I got this guy really cheap on eBay, and it's always good to practice your skills. Plus I don't really know how to work with fine cast, and I think that it's such a random situation right now. So we're going to see how this goes. Should be pretty fun either way. Okay, and then what's going to happen? Well, the idea with this guy is that he is looking a lot more angry than he does in his normal pose. His normal pose is quite static. It's not very dynamic at all. He's only got a sword, claw, but that's about it. So what we want to do is something a little more intense. Basically, you know that move that the Hulk makes in the new Hulk movie where he sort of screams and rips things in half? And when he rips them in half, you know, one half ends up in his right hand, one half ends up in his left hand, and usually behind his back. So he's sort of like, and he just tears it in half, and he bellows, and he's got drool coming out of his mouth, and every muscle is taut, and his whole body is like shaking with rage, and he's like leaning forward with his head sort of and jaw jutting out aggressively, and behind him is like two halves of a tank or two halves of a person. Well, Abaddon's got the claws for it, so why not have him in the same pose? With two halves of a Space Marine, one, you know, head in one hand, legs in the other hand, and torso and legs sort of flailing with the sort of the kinetic energy as he pulls them apart, and a stream of gore and blood, just very sort of thinly connecting the two pieces in a sort of like a trail around his body as he's just ripped this guy in half, and he's got both parts sort of flung behind him. Wouldn't that look pretty cool for a pose? So that's the idea that we've discussed and the idea we've agreed upon, and we'll be working on that this week. So look forward to updates to that in the next day or so. Thanks guys.